your bold statement? Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears.
Jahmyr Gibbs will rush for at least 150 yards this Sunday at Chicago.
Woo!
The Bears have a bad run defense. They are on a losing streak. They have quit to some extent, and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the man back there. And I believe it is going to be highlighted by one run of at least 50 yards for a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs has a career banner day, and he puts himself right back in the mix for being third in the NFL in rushing yards after, of course, Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. Jahmyr Gibbs, 150 yards on Sunday. Book it.
Hey, 150 yards.
Rushing.
Just the rushing.
Just rushing.
Give me some total. Give me the total, too. Give me the total yards. This is our yardage leader from scrimmage.
That's crazy.
Continue to get me fired up. No, I'm ready. Now I'm just like,
on the ground
let's
alone.
go. Because you're talking about the elements is going to force the ball into Jahmyr Gibbs' hands.
You know what? This is say it with your chest. So I got to be bold. Total yards, 200 plus.
Jahmyr Gibbs' legacy game. You're talking about supersonic.
Speaking of regression on the Bears, TJ Edwards last year was a really good coverage linebacker, and this year his passer rating allowed when targeted is 115. He cannot cover Jahmyr Gibbs one-on-one. Jahmyr Gibbs is finally starting to find his stride as a pass catcher. 200 yards from scrimmage from Jahmyr Gibbs this Sunday.
Oh, you know what? I'm about to say this to defense. I don't know if this is bold enough, but let me know.
Okay.
I do believe that the Detroit Lions defense is going to come away from this game with 5 sacks and 2 interceptions.
That's bold. That's bold.
I do.
That's bold.
I you know what? I want to see them get after it. I can see it being one of those 4.5 and a 2, but this defense, they're hungry for some turnovers. It's a part of their identity. They haven't really been able to be that over the last few weeks. And you're right. I believe that this Bears offensive line that has just absolutely left Caleb Williams out for the pickings, I believe these hungry Lions are going to finally prove that they're headed in the right direction with this defensive line and overcoming. So 5 sacks, 2 interceptions for the defense.
I love it.
Let's go.
That sounds to me like a 20-plus point win right there.
I'm skipping to a similar tune here, Koolaid.
Come on!
I got Terrion Arnold's first interception coming on Sunday. TA has been due. He's been improving every single week. And, I mean, I can't lie. His TikTok is hilarious. And that's playing a factor.
Oh, man. Let's go. TA for his first interception. Chat family as well. Get yours. Get your say it with the chest in the chat family as well. Your say it with the chest moment or prediction for the Detroit Lions versus Chicago Bears. You know, we got to go to Woodward Sports MVP, and it's a Friday. He's in the TD booth, but it's a Friday, so it's more appropriately the TD booth. What up, though, JB Smooth?
I mean, I didn't go all crazy with my bold predictions, but I do have 2 on the plate right now as it is. So everyone, please open your textbooks to chapter 16, and we'll read from paragraph 1 of Jared Thomas Goff. He won't be perfect, but he will be damn near surgical out there. And he will have over 350 yards.
In the element.
4 touchdowns.
This is bold.
And
Very bold.
the Lions defense will pick off the Bears twice and run it back.
Oh,
What?
He gave us offense and defense. Hey,
That's a 40-point
give me
win.
a special teams bold statement too, JB.
Right.
Just making them trifecta.
I mean,
Hey, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, his practice clock started. Give me some more good news.
I mean, as
Talk
of
to me
right now, that's
nicely.
all I have right now. But yes, my bold predictions will reflect my final score predictions at the end of the show. Just so you know.
Straight from the gospel.
Straight from the gospel.
Hey, listen, this is our voice of reason here, so I'm getting pretty fired up. Steph is over there. High Def Steph is over there. Kavasi and Chase, get ready for your bold statement too. I'm ready to hear your statement, man.
All right, so
With the Santa hat on and everything.
Hear me out. The Lions are going to be motivated to win this game because we got to have it. We got to have the last 3 games, okay? The Bears, on the other hand, they might already be thinking about going to Cabo, okay? Seriously, they might be thinking about mailing it in right now. It's going to be cold. It might be wet. We know how the grass at Soldier Field is. Nobody want to get on the mat there, okay? So I think the Lions forced 3 turnovers.
Ooh.
One of them they returned for a score.
Ooh.
I thought the defense was going to score some points last week. They didn't. But this week, because we motivated and we know we got to have these last 3 games, and it's the Chicago Bears and it's FTB.
Say it with your chest.
FTB.
Let's go, man.
3 turnovers, 1 forced score. I think the Lions win pretty convincingly. And, yeah, my MVP will probably be Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's say he go for a 70-yard touchdown on the ground.
And we've seen that.
Yeah. He
50,
might take a
40,
screen pass
70.
to the house. We'll see.
Man, you know what?
And that's
You
how
guys
we
get
get
me
golf to
fired up,
350.
Yeah.
Right
He fired
You know?
up. I saw doing your whole say with your chest answer. Flannel, his smile just continued to grow like
Yeah.
the Grinch. Like we're about to walk into Chicago, and ruin Christmas for some people.
We are.
man.
We're going
yeah.
to ruin Christmas for Chicago.
Let's go.
Okay.
Like it hasn't been ruined enough
He
already.
says that with the Santa hat on too. Kavasi and Chase, let's say it with your chest, bro. What is your bold statement for the Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears game?
Bold statement. I'll say Kendall Vildor gets an interception.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he kind of turned some of the hate around on him. The last time they played, we saw that very questionable pass interference call, and I think he's gonna get some payback. He's gonna get a little bit of a lick back, and Kendall Vildor with an interception. If you want to get really crazy, maybe Jamison Williams gets 253 receiving yards to hit 1,000 on the year.
253 in
But-
one game.
But anyways, that's how far away he is in 3 games to hit that 1,000 on the season. So Jersey Watch still in play.
Oh, it's still in play.
Man.
It's not a sure thing, but it's still in play.
But you know what? These do feel like those games where, especially when it's inclement weather, sometimes it's a quick strike to that speedy wide receiver who gets his cleats down into the ground, and usually it's like, well, he got his 2 catches for 70 yards.
Hey.
And that type of we can see it happen. And you know what? How that stuff got me thinking too. The swing pass and the pass to Jahmyr Gibbs out the backfield, it could really catch the Bears defense napping. So, hey, those are some bold statements. I'm hoping that the chat family had theirs in the chat. I continue to get them in. I see Dante151 before we get into the next segment. $4.99 super chat. He said, F that. If you want something to say with your chest, Terrion will have 2 interceptions, and one of them will be a pick 6. Lions 62, Bears 10, FTB. FTB. That was in all caps, so I had to do it some justice. Shout out to you, Dante151. Let's get into this next segment because I can't wait to see what you guys are fired up about this all week. And we do have college football playoffs among us. And even though we don't have a squad there's a team there that we have rooting interest against. And we can see somebody potentially punted to the moon, no matter what their AD stated about, no, this game doesn't mean anything. Okay.
Oh, yes, it does.
Tell that to the state of Ohio. Take it away, that dude, Justin.
All right, well, I know everyone's ready for a nice football gasm this weekend with the plethora of NFL and this beautiful bracket that I have behind me. So we're going to start off in that top right corner with the game tonight. Notre Dame plays against Indiana, and it is going to be a snowy game. There's already, it looks to appear like 6 inches of snow already on the field. Wow. So that's going to be an intriguing environment to be in.
They might
Me
clean that up
personally
before
in
the
this
game
game,
starts.
I love Kurt Signetti, and I also love Curtis Rourke. But unfortunately, I don't think that they have the size and the speed to compete with Notre Dame, even though it's kind of ironic because Notre Dame doesn't have the size and the speed to compete with teams like Georgia. But this is up another level of competition for Indiana, and you saw it when they played Ohio State. Ohio State was able to run the ball against them, and that is something that Ohio State has struggled to do all season. And Notre Dame is one of the best teams in the country with 2 elite running backs. So I would love to see Indiana play a great game, but I don't think it's going to be. I think that Notre Dame's going to win by a touchdown. Flannel, what are your thoughts about this game?
I got Notre Dame as well. You pretty much hit the nail on the head when it comes to Signetti and Curtis Rourke. Both things can be true. Kurt Signetti is the National Coach of the Year. Getting Indiana to the playoff is a miracle. Curtis Rourke is the most impactful transfer this year in the nation, not named Dylan Gabriel. That being said, Indiana is the dictionary definition of schedule merchants. Both times they went up and played a defense with NFL talent, their offense looked stagnant. In the games combined against Michigan and Ohio State, they scored 17.5 points per game. 20 against Michigan, 15 against Ohio State. Damn, Michigan should have beat Indiana if they had anything other than a corpse at quarterback. The point is that Notre Dame, like Ohio State, like Michigan, has NFL players all over that defense, led by their secondary, led by Benjamin Morrison and Xavier Watts. All of those, that Indiana passing attack will be limited by the snow and by the secondary by Notre Dame. So give me Notre Dame.
Yeah, I expect it to be a long day for Indiana. So we're going to go right here to Happy Valley for my absolute favorite team, led by James Franklin. But SMU travels, And this game is kind of intriguing to me because this is a styles makes fights where, Penn State's going to have the line play, but SMU has the speed and the weapons, and so it's going to be an interesting matchup. But in the cold, I think it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people expect, because I really like SMU's quarterback Jennings and his ability to make plays off schedule and off platform, and that's not something that Penn State plays well against. So I think it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people expect, which could lead James Franklin for his legendary choke job that he is known for. But if you had to make me pick the game, I'd take Penn State, but I would take SMU on the points.
Penn State, in my opinion, blows SMU the F out. This is a game that Penn State wins. This isn't the James Franklin choke job. This is a team that is much more talented, playing a team in SMU that, in my opinion, cannot match the talent, cannot be a Dallas team going into cold-ass Happy Valley and winning. Abdul Carter for Penn State, with all due apologies to guys like Mason Graham and Will Johnson, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter is the best defensive player in college football. 20 tackles for loss, 10 sacks. That's why before the season, I called him Abdul Parsons or Micah Carter. The dude is a game wrecker. And offensively, Penn State has one of the best offensive players a lot of you have never heard of. Their tight end, Tyler Warren, is going to eat. Over 1,000 receiving yards, almost 200 on the ground. They direct snap it to him sometimes. A touchdown.
And Scorton's very good as well.
Yes. A touchdown pass as well to put the icing on the cake. SMU does not have the defenders to be able to stop that, and they certainly cannot block Abdul Carter. This is a blowout. Penn State's going to out-athlete SMU.
That I could 100% see that. And that if you're going to tell me to pick a side, it's 100% Penn State, even though I absolutely hate them to all hell. Anyway, we're moving on. Right behind Flannel's head, we have Texas versus Clemson. This is honestly a very intriguing matchup because Clemson's probably the lowest ranked team on the table. And I think this is going to be a blowout. I think Texas is going to come out. They're going to put belts to ass. I think that Texas is dealing with something very similar with Ohio State, where they can't get over their Goliath. They can't beat Georgia. But anyone else they can beat, and they can beat handedly. They have too much speed. Their offense is unbelievable. Even with Quinn Ewers playing bad, they still can move the ball efficiently. They should be able to run the ball on Clemson. Clemson, without using the portal, has been at a talent deficiency for years. I'd expect Texas to win by 14+.
This is another both things can be true thing. People need to chill on Dabo. People saying that he's washed and,
he's not washed.
He's and all that. And Spenny even said earlier that he should be fired. Well, welcome to the college football playoff and an ACC championship, Clemson. Although in the ACC it's not that impressive, but they still made the playoffs. Dabo Swinney is Clemson. He's one of the best to ever do it in college football, and he managed to get Clemson back to competing for a national championship, at least in terms of making the playoff.
He also started using the portal.
That's fair. All that being said, Texas is going to murder Clemson. Murder. It's going to be a massacre, as Silverchair says, a true massacre. That is what it's going to be, because Clemson. This is what Texas does have. They have the best tackle duo in college football. They have Quinn Ewers, who I think is one of the most over-hated and over-analyzed quarterbacks, quite frankly, I've ever seen. He's still really good. He's the best Texas quarterback since Colt McCoy by far. And he has weapons. He has Matthew Golden. He has Isaiah Bond. He has the tight end Gunnar Helm. And I'll tell you what, Clemson does not have the athletes in the secondary or at the D-line to hang with those units at all. Texas wins by at least 20.
Completely agree. And we're going to go to the last game, the big game, the one that everyone is fiending over. 8 o'clock, ABC, Ohio State hosting Tennessee. Reports from SeatGeek said that 41% of resale tickets are sold to Tennessee fans in comparison to 23% for Ohio State fans. So it should be a very interesting environment. This matchup is so interesting because Ohio State has lost 2 of their starting offensive linemen on the year. Tennessee has a defensive line that is very comparable to the elite defensive lines in the SEC, where they run 6'7" NFL defensive linemen deep, and they just rotate them every single down. And then let's go to the offensive side of the ball. They do have a freshman quarterback in Nico, but their running back Sampson is an absolute dog with one of the best offensive lines in the country. So if you want to talk styles make fights, this is a terrible matchup for Ohio State in terms of that. But when Tennessee's 2 losses this year were to Georgia and I'm forgetting the other one.
Arkansas.
Arkansas's quarterback is not a passing quarterback. He's a dual threat quarterback that relies. It's Trayvon Green. He relies a lot on his mobility. He passed for over 280 yards on this Tennessee defense. Jalen Milroe put over 280 as well in their loss, but they lost because he threw 2 picks. Harson Beck threw for 350 yards on this Tennessee defense. That is the only way you beat Tennessee, is if you throw the ball effectively, efficiently, and often. That is exactly what Ohio State wants to do on offense. They're going to be throwing the ball at will to Ibuka and to Smith, and that is going to be their pathway to victory. So I think this is a very interesting matchup, and I'm really curious to hear what Flannel thinks.
Man.
And I'll drop my prediction when Flannel's done.
Justin, you hit a lot of the points that I was going to make on the head. If you're Ohio State, I think this game entirely depends on getting off to a fast start and not letting doubt seep into both the players, the coaching staff, and the Ohio State fans who are going to let their home team know it if they get off to a slow start. If you're Ryan Day, if you're Chip Kelly, you can't try to do what you did against Michigan. You gotta air it out. You gotta throw it to Jeremiah Smith. You gotta throw it to Ibuka. You gotta throw it to Carnell Tate, because Tennessee does not have the secondary that can handle that. However, Ohio State, they are a demoralized program right now, because losing to Michigan for them is, let's just say this: Ohio State hates Michigan more than Michigan hates Ohio State. Ohio State fans are up in arms. Ohio State players are devastated. Jack Sawyer, I still think, hasn't stopped crying. It's just the mindset right now. So if they get off to a slow start, if there's any sort of doubt, maybe they'll choke a little bit. Maybe Chip Kelly and Ryan Day will try to run bully ball again when they don't have the personnel to do so. And you mentioned it, Tennessee, there are some matchups in which they can exploit Ohio State. Dylan Sampson is one of the best running backs in college football. If Tennessee can ride him, pause, and let Nico be more of a game manager who doesn't make mistakes, that could bode well for Tennessee's offense. Although Nico not making mistakes is easier said than done. I mean, they still have Caleb Downs back there for Ohio State. And also, and you mentioned it, Ohio State has a depleted offensive line. Their best tackle and their center out for the season. Tennessee has got James Pierce. They've got that defensive tackle, what's his name? Omar Norman Lott. I forgot about it. He's a stud as well. So if they can get pressure on Will Howard, if they can stop the run, if Ohio State tries to choke and play bully ball again, there is a pathway for Tennessee to win. So neither of us gave our predictions. I'm going to let you give yours first, Justin.
I am going to go with Ohio State to win, Tennessee to cover.
Ooh.
Same thing.
I don't know. I just think that people are writing off Ohio State a little too much. It's one thing that they can't beat Michigan, but it's another thing saying that they can't beat good teams, because they can beat good teams, and they do consistently, and they consistently stay in games with good. They should have beat Oregon early in the year. And that was without their center, without their tackle. They're just as capable now as they were in the regular season, and I think that they're gonna win this game. Which kills my heart to say. I'm like, my heart's hurting saying that, but
I know this is going to sound crazy, but I don't care. Does Ohio State even give a shit anymore? Or are they so demoralized from the Michigan loss? And I'm serious. That is not me just trying to be Homer or anything like that. They are devastated. They are demoralized. On paper, Ohio State should absolutely win this game. Hell, on paper, you could say that they're the national championship favorite, given the talent that they have. But I think in this game, Ohio State gets off to a slow start and they pucker a bit. The fans start to make it known. The Boo Birds might come out, although also going to hear cheers from the Tennessee fans. Ryan Day is going to doubt himself. Chip Kelly is going to doubt himself. And Will Howard throws a back-breaking pick in this game. James Pierce gets a sack or two. Dylan Sampson runs for over 100 yards. And Tennessee wins on a walk-off field goal. Give me Tennessee. I don't give a damn. There's a pathway, and I'm taking it.
I see you step over there excited.
I'd like to see Ohio State lose.
Yeah, let's rock.
Hey, 100% though, you could 100% see it. There's a pathway and there's value there. I was also asked in the chat a couple times if I'd give my parlay out for the weekend, and I will.
Yes.
Also, if you're wondering for predictions on the rest of the matchup, I will guarantee you, I will bet anybody, if you would like, that Oregon or Georgia will win it. That's like straight up. That's plus 200 if you want to bet on both of those together to win the Natty. It's a great bet. But I think it's going to be Georgia who beats Oregon in the Natty. Even with the backup quarterback Gunnar Stockton, their defense is absolutely unbelievable. And I'm not one to bet against Georgia, that's for sure. Especially when Dylan Gabriel has a history of choking in big games.
JB?
I'm not betting against Oregon. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. That's the only team on that
Their
bracket
defense
that
is
I see.
awful.
That's the only team on that bracket that I see could like take it all the way. Georgia is cool, but like you've seen the faults this season later on. So I don't know if they have what it takes to kind of will it through the last couple games. So give me Oregon all the way to take it.
I see it 100%. Parlay for the weekend though, Tennessee plus 7.5, Texas minus 12 if you would like. Alt it down to 9.5. It will be minus 150. It's not that's probably a better number to be honest. And then Notre Dame money line. I'm going to stay away from this SMU Penn State game because I think it's a little more shaky than the rest of the games. Well,
You hate James Franklin and Penn State so much.
You could honestly compare it to how much I hate Michigan State. Like they are on that level. Like I hate Penn State and I hate James Franklin so much.
Oh, okay, but
There's something about him, bro.
Is it
Like,
'cause
I
he
get
has
it. I
moxie?
just want to see him like, just as much as I want to see Ryan Day get fired, I want to see the same thing with James Franklin.
I can't believe Penn
man's
State
down
fans
for-
don't hate him more. Like the Penn State is a good enough program.